Hey guys, welcome to part B of starting a project. When we left you last, we had created our project, loaded our links, created our levels, and now we're going to continue on with just setting up our project and getting ready to start modeling a few things. One thing I forgot to mention is once you load your links in, you're going to want to click on them and pin them. And basically the pin function makes it so you can't move the link around accidentally. Like if I unpin this, you can see if I click and drag, and it's taking a little while because it's thinking, but I can actually start to move the links around, and you don't want that because then you start getting modeling errors and all sorts of bad things happen. So just make sure you pin these, and I'm just gonna tab, trying to get the structural one. There you go. So now that these are pinned, we're gonna go and start creating our grids. Now there's two sets of grids here already, and these are from the architectural and structural models, but I can't move these around because they're not in our model. Actually, they're just reflected on our plan right now. So we're gonna use the copy monitor function again. And the way I do that is under collaborate, we'll do the copy monitor and we'll select the link. I usually select the architectural. You can select the structural if you want, it doesn't really matter. And I'll copy. I'm just going to click this multiple one because I'm going to select all of these. I think we hold down shift or control, sorry. Hold down control, start selecting these all. Maybe hard to see, but you can kind of see they're all getting selected. These ones are all done. I think that's all of them. I'm just gonna finish here. I think that's okay. Now you can see they're all loaded in our model, and we can start playing around with these and moving them as we want. Sorry, I pressed the F1 key by accident there. So now we got these in here. What I like to do is I like to go and get rid of all the structural and architectural annotation. And so I'm just going to open up my visibility graphics. I'm going to go into the Revit links, and under these display settings, I'm just going to click that. And then under our, you have to click the custom first. You can set these up. I might go through these a little bit later when we do our view templates, but basically right now our architectural link is pretty much copying what we have in our mechanical model. So if we go to custom, we can actually change the how the architectural model is viewed separately from our mechanical model. And this is helpful if you want to, if you have like demolition drawings, it might be you want to set the phase different. Might want to show this as existing, or demolition, or new construction, or whatever you need. But for this purposes, we're not going to change anything in here. So under our annotation, we'll have to set these up as custom. And you can go around and tick everything off, but typically I don't want anything shown, so I'll just uncheck this, and then all these will be hidden. And sometimes the changes will be reflected already. I think it looks like one set has disappeared already, so I'm just going to click apply. And I'm just going to do the same for the structural link. Excuse me. There we go. We're set with one set of drawings, or sorry, one set of grid lines. It looks a lot cleaner from where it was before, and we can adjust these as how we want. If we want the bubbles up here, we can select these check marks or uncheck them. We can drag these however we want, but for now I'm just going to leave it. And I guess we're kind of done with the setting up the grid lines. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up the work sharing function. So this makes my model now a central model, and what that means is it's kind of like a I don't know how to describe it. It's a file on a computer or server, but it allows other people to access the file at the same time. Now there's sync functions, so as soon as you click on something and change it, it accesses that central model, the one that we're going to create, and it basically sets a lock on that element. So if I was to move this grid line, basically it would lock it to other people so they can't access it. And then once I sync, the sync function usually has a relinquish. It'll commit those changes to the central model and then relinquish this element for other people to edit. So this allows many people to work on the same project and not interfere with each other, which is good for large projects. Also good if you have a few people working on the same project in the same area, so you're not bumping into each other. So basically I'm just going to go under this collaborate, I'm going to save the model and continue. And I don't have A360, but this is basically a cloud-based function. It uses Autodesk servers to host the central model. It's neat if you're not really in the same office. If you have separate offices and you're working on the same project, it makes it a lot faster, because sometimes you don't have great connections to each other, or it's long distance or something, and can really bog down the model. So it's a good option for remote offices, but I'm just going to collaborate within your network. And now this opens up our work sets function. So that means we can start creating different work set. And what a work set is basically, it's almost like a layer, you can call it. You can assign elements to different work sets. Like this one's on shared levels and grid, which I'm gonna leave because I like that there. But you can assign like mechanical elements to their own work sets, or plumbing fixtures, or pretty much anything you can assign to a different work set. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it. We have under here, this is our work set picker. We have only two. This is the one that Revit created, and this is a kind of a default one that you leave the shared levels and grids. You probably can't see that. I'm just realizing now, so I'm just gonna open it. This work set one is the one that Revit created for us, and then it also created this shared levels and grid, and then it assigned the levels and grids to this already, so we shouldn't have to go back and assign them, but I'll check. And basically right now I'm the owner of these because I haven't synced, and it is open in our model. You can also gray this to see which ones are inactive or not. Excuse me. So I'm just going to looks like it's all synced already. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to create new work sets for the links. So I'm just going to go under this work set button down at the bottom here. I'm going to click new. And I'm just going to type arc link. Also create another one. Sorry, my computer's being slow today. I'm just going to OK that. So now we have the structural link selected. Just gonna change the work set to its own. And trying to get the architectural model here. There we go, yeah. So now these are on separate work sets, and just going to I'm gonna save this. Going to go save as. Just gonna overwrite our model, and it'll say make this a central model after save. Basically now this is our central model. It's stored on our server. So what I'm going to do now, it's all saved, is I'm going to close this because I don't want to be editing the central model. If there's other people wanting to access this, I don't want to have this open because they won't be able to. So I'm just going to open this. I'm going to click our model, and now on the bottom let's say create new local. Basically this makes a copy of the central model on your own space. If this was hosted on like a server or something, it'll host it on your local model, so it'll make it faster for editing, and then once you sync, it'll commit those changes to the central model. So it makes it much faster if this was hosted on like a different server, or maybe like the A360 cloud-based. So it's just taking a second to load. And now we have our local model, and we can tell this by this will be our username after it adds that to your local file. So I'm just gonna sync to save this. I'm just gonna create this because I did create some work sets. Now we have our local model, and I'm just gonna change this. I'm just gonna edit this to not gonna let me rename this. Wonder, yeah, I had to check it out, so I'm just gonna rename this. Oh, okay, I have to close this for some reason. I'm just gonna name this Mac. You can do the same for electrical if you're working in the same model. You can create these to kind of differentiate between your elements. And I'm just gonna sync this again. And I'm just gonna check this box. So now I committed that rename to the central model. And it checked this work set out for us, so we don't have to do that manually. So now what we can do is we can start setting up how we want this to look. Now this is just our floor plan, but we can start adjusting these. Just like that. And now we have pretty much a clean drawing which we can work off. I'm actually going to, I forgot something. I'm going to tag these. I'm just going to go under the tag all function. I want the room tags to show up on these. So the rooms are saved in the architectural linked files, so I'm gonna have to include elements from linked files. I'll just go to room tags. I'm gonna highlight this. You can change it if you have different tags you want. So this one has the area and this one has the volume. I don't really care about that. I just want the room tag. You can add leaders if you want, but I'm just gonna hit apply. And I guess our rooms are turned off in this model, so I just clicked OK to turn them on. And now we have our rooms. And these are our elements, so we can, oops, sorry, pressed F1 again. On my keyboard, the F1 key is pretty close to the escape key, so sorry if I hit that occasionally. But we can move these around. These elements are actually architectural elements. So since this model was created after we did ours, They pretty much just copied where we had our elements. So with that, one thing I like to do is just, if you find that they're putting in mechanical elements and you don't want them to show up, I just usually just go into the custom, in the display settings. Oh, why is being so slow today? And I'll just go into model and just go to mechanical equipment. Just take that off. There. One thing I like to do too is under room tags, just gonna halftone them because I don't really want them so bold. It's under the annotation categories. Now we have a usable model. Looks pretty good. I'm not sure if this is the scale I want for setting up our sheets, but for now I think it'll do. I think I'll stop the video here. In the next video we'll go through setting up templates and start looking at maybe splitting this up a little bit more, doing some higher scaled, or sorry, lower, I guess lower scaled, maybe 1 to 50 drawings, and we'll go over like dependent views and stuff like that, but for now I'm just gonna leave that there. Video should be up in a couple days, so just keep a watch out for that. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.